Have you ever picked up a knob of fresh ginger or a bundle of lemongrass at the grocery store, used just a little bit, and then watched the rest sit in the fridge until it was too far gone to use? It happens to all of us, and it feels like throwing money straight into the trash. But what if those scraps could become thriving plants right in your own home? After gardening for over 2 decades, I have found 10 exotic vegetables that you can regrow from the scraps you would normally toss. Stick around for number 9 because it is one that shocks almost everyone, and I have got a bonus tip at the end that is going to help every single one of these scraps take off faster. First up on our list is lemongrass. And if you have never tried regrowing a vegetable from scraps before, this is hands down the best place to begin. Head to your grocery store and look for lemongrass stalks in the produce section, usually near the specialty or Asian vegetables. What you want are stalks that still have the base intact, that thick, slightly bulbous bottom end. That is where all the magic happens. When you get home, trim the top of each stalk down to about 6 inches and peel away any dry or papery outer layers. Then, place the stalks base down in a glass with about 1 inch of water. Set it on a warm, sunny windowsill, and within just a few days, you are going to see fresh, green shoots pushing out from the top and little white roots forming at the bottom. It is honestly one of the most exciting things to watch in your kitchen. Change the water every couple of days to keep it clean. Once the roots are a couple of inches long, transplant into a pot with rich, moist soil. Lemongrass loves heat and humidity. It is hardy outdoors in USDA zones 9 through 11, but it grows beautifully as a potted plant in cooler zones if you bring it inside for winter. Fresh lemongrass in soups, curries, and teas is an absolute game changer. The second exotic vegetable I want to share with you is ginger, and this one is a real crowd favorite. Next time you are at the store, grab a fresh ginger rhizome, that knobby root you see in the produce section. Look for a piece that is plump, firm, and has a few little bumps or nubs on it. Those nubs are called growth eyes, and they are where new shoots will emerge. Let the piece sit out overnight to dry slightly, then place it in a shallow container of warm, moist potting mix with the growth eyes pointing upward. Cover it with about 1 inch of soil, keep it warm and lightly moist, and in about 2 to 3 weeks, you will see green shoots poking through. Ginger loves warmth and indirect light. It does not like direct scorching sun or cold drafts. As it grows, the plant produces beautiful, tropical-looking foliage. After about 8 to 10 months, you can harvest fresh ginger root by gently digging around the base. It is hardy in USDA zones 8 through 12, but does wonderfully in a container indoors in cooler climates. The flavor of homegrown ginger compared to store-bought is remarkably more vibrant and aromatic. One small piece from the grocery store can yield a surprisingly large harvest. Number 3 on our list is bok choy. And trust me, this one is so easy it almost feels like cheating. When you buy bok choy at the grocery store, you normally chop off the base and throw it away, right? Stop doing that. That base is a gold mine. Cut the leaves about 2 inches up from the bottom, leaving the base intact. Place that base cut side up in a shallow dish with about ½ inch of water. Set it in a bright spot, and within just 2 to 3 days, you are going to see new little green leaves sprouting right from the center. It is genuinely amazing how quickly it responds. Keep the water fresh, and after about a week when you see roots forming underneath, transplant it into a pot or garden bed with rich, moist soil. Bok choy is a cool season crop that thrives in USDA zones 2 through 11, depending on the time of year. It prefers temperatures between 50 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit, making it perfect for spring and fall growing. You can harvest the outer leaves as they grow or let the whole head develop. Shanghai bok choy and baby bok choy both regrow wonderfully from scraps. Now, what I have been sharing with you today are some of my favorite exotic vegetables to regrow, but they are really just a taste of what is possible. I put together a guide called the 30-Day Kitchen Scrap Garden Protocol. It takes everything I know about growing food from kitchen scraps and organizes it into a day-by-day plan that anyone can follow. It covers which scraps actually regrow successfully and which ones people waste their time on. It walks you through the setup so you get it right from day one. And it gives you a complete 30-day calendar, so there is no guesswork involved. Click the link in the description right below this video, or if you are watching on a television or a computer screen, take out your phone, open up your camera like you are going to take a picture, and hold it up to the QR code on screen right now. A little link will pop up at the top of your phone screen. Just tap that, and it will take you right to the guide. No typing, no searching. Either way works. I honestly think it is the best thing you can do for your garden this season. All right, let us keep going. The fourth vegetable we are diving into is turmeric. And if you have already tried regrowing ginger, you are going to feel right at home with this one because the process is nearly identical. Turmeric rhizomes are showing up in more and more grocery stores these days, especially in the organic or specialty sections. Look for pieces that are firm with visible growth buds. Place them in a container of warm, moist potting mix about 1 inch deep with the buds facing up. Keep things warm, around 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and consistently moist. Shoots usually appear in 2 to 3 weeks. Turmeric is a tropical plant, hardy in USDA zones 8 through 11, but it grows beautifully in pots indoors. After 8 to 10 months, you can harvest the brilliant orange roots. The flavor and color of fresh turmeric is worlds apart from the powdered stuff, and it is loaded with beneficial compounds. Coming in at number 5, we have got fennel, and this one works almost exactly like bok choy. When you buy a fennel bulb at the store, cut off the stalks and use the bulb in your cooking, but save about 1 inch of the base with the root end attached. Place that base in a small dish of water in a sunny window, and within a few days, you will see fresh green fronds sprouting from the center. Once roots develop, transplant into a deep pot or garden bed with well-draining soil. Fennel prefers cool weather and is hardy in USDA zones 4 through 9. The Florence fennel variety is what you typically find at grocery stores, and it regrows reliably. Fresh fennel fronds are wonderful as an herb in salads, fish dishes, and soups, and you may even get a small new bulb if conditions are right. The 6th exotic vegetable on our list is chayote squash, and this is one of the most fun regrowing projects you can try. Chayote is a tropical squash found in many grocery stores, especially those with a Latin American or Asian produce section. Here's the really cool part. The entire fruit is the seed. You do not even need to cut it open. Simply take a whole chayote and let it sit on your kitchen counter until you see a sprout emerging from the wide end. Then, plant the whole thing at a slight angle in a large pot or garden bed with the sprouted end pointing upward, leaving the tip just barely exposed above the soil. Give it rich, well-draining soil, plenty of water, and a trellis or support to climb. Chayote is a vigorous grower in USDA zones 7 through 11 and produces abundantly in warm climates. A single fruit from the store can turn into a massive vine that yields dozens of squash in one season. Now, number 7 is an exciting one, and that is galangal. If you love Thai cooking, galangal is an ingredient that transforms dishes like tom kha soup and Thai curries. It looks similar to ginger but has a sharper, more citrusy flavor. Finding fresh galangal can be tricky at regular grocery stores, but Asian markets almost always carry it. Look for firm, pinkish rhizomes with visible growth nodes. The regrowing process is virtually the same as ginger. Plant a piece about 1 to 2 inches deep in warm, moist potting soil with the nodes facing up. Keep it in a warm spot with indirect light and consistent moisture. Galangal is slower to establish than ginger, often taking 3 to 4 weeks to show growth. But once it gets going, it is quite productive. It is hardy in USDA zones 9 through 11 and does well in a container indoors in cooler zones. Homegrown galangal has a fragrance and intensity that store-bought simply cannot match. The 8th vegetable we have got to talk about is daikon radish. And this one is a great option if you want quick results. When you buy a daikon at the store, save about 2 inches of the top end where the greens were attached. Place it cut side down in a shallow dish of water, and within days you will see fresh greens sprouting from the top. Those greens are completely edible and delicious in stir-fries, salads, and soups. Once roots develop from the base, you can transplant it into deep, loose soil. While you may not grow a full-size daikon from a scrap, you will get a generous harvest of nutritious greens and potentially a small root. Daikon thrives in cool weather and is suited for USDA zones 2 through 10, making it incredibly adaptable. It is a fast-growing crop that gives you a return in just a few weeks. Number 9 is the one I mentioned at the start, and it is Taro, a tropical root vegetable that most people never even think to regrow at home. You can find taro root in many grocery stores, especially those with a diverse produce section. Look for a corm that is firm with no soft spots. Cut off the top 1 to 2 inches of the taro corm, making sure it has a growth point. Place it cut side down in a shallow dish of water, and within a week or two, you will see a beautiful purple-tinged shoot emerging. Taro produces some of the most stunning foliage of any vegetable, with large, heart-shaped tropical leaves that look absolutely gorgeous. Once it sprouts, transplant into a large container with rich, consistently moist soil. Taro loves humidity and warmth. It is hardy in USDA zones 8 through 11. In cooler zones, grow it as a summer container plant and bring it indoors before frost. The corms are a staple food in many cultures and are fantastic, roasted, mashed, or made into chips. The 10th and final exotic vegetable on our list is purple sweet potato. And this is a showstopper both in the garden and on your plate. Pick up an organic purple sweet potato at the store. Organic is important here because conventionally grown sweet potatoes are often treated with a sprout inhibitor. Place the potato halfway submerged in a glass of water using toothpicks to hold it in place, just like you may have done as a science project when you were a kid. Set it in a warm, bright spot, and in 1 to 2 weeks, you will see slips, little green shoots, growing from the eyes. Once those slips are about 6 inches long with their own roots, gently twist them off and plant them in rich, well-draining soil. Purple sweet potatoes need a long, warm season, about 90 to 120 days, and thrive in USDA zones 5 through 11. The vines are vigorous and beautiful, and the harvest is absolutely stunning. Those deep purple roots are packed with antioxidants and have a rich, slightly nutty sweetness. All right, now here is a bonus tip that is going to change the game for you. When you are regrowing any of these exotic vegetables from scraps, the single most important factor that most people overlook is temperature. Tropical and subtropical crops like ginger, turmeric, galangal, taro, and lemongrass need consistent warmth to root and sprout. If your kitchen stays below 65 degrees Fahrenheit, those scraps are going to just sit there doing nothing, or worse, they will rot. The fix is simple. Pick up an inexpensive seedling heat mat, the kind you can find online or at any garden center, for about $15 to $20. Place your glasses and pots on the heat mat, and it keeps the root zone at a steady 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. The difference is dramatic. Scraps that might take 3 to 4 weeks to sprout in a cool kitchen can get going in half the time with bottom heat. It is a small investment that makes every single one of these regrowing projects more successful. What I have walked you through today gives you a strong foundation, but it is still just one part of the bigger picture. If you are serious about turning your kitchen scraps into a real producing garden, I would encourage you to check out the guide I put together. It is called the 30-Day Kitchen Scrap Garden Protocol. It is everything I have figured out about kitchen scrap gardening, laid out in a day-by-day plan you can start right away. It covers which scraps are genuinely worth regrowing and which ones to skip. It gives you the complete setup method, so nothing is left to chance. And it includes the full 30-day schedule, so you always know exactly what comes next. There are 2 easy ways to get it. The first is to click the link in the description right below this video. Just scroll down a little and you will see it. The second way, if you are watching on a television or a computer screen, is to take out your phone. Open up your camera like you are going to take a picture and hold it up to the QR code you see on screen right now. A little link will pop up at the top of your phone screen. Just tap that and it will bring you right to the guide. No typing, no searching. Either way works. I think it is the best investment you can make in your garden this year. Now get out there and grow something amazing.